I wanted to give you a little advice. So when we get into car design, I recommend you to use only pen and paper, right? Why is this? Because when you make a mistake, you can't go back, and you try to make it better and better and better. And this is how you really improve, okay? So only pen and paper. Allow yourself to make mistakes. This is very, very important. Another thing, patience and practice. This is not from day to night, okay? This is days, weeks, months, years of practice, practice, practice. You need to allow yourself to make mistakes, do some improvement, make mistakes again, improvements, mistakes, improvements, mistakes. If you're always trying to do your things perfectly, you are not going to improve. You need to learn to draw just bad doodles, okay? This is not all about doing cool things. Another thing, drawing proper lines. What I mean with this, you should feel your hand free, okay? Soft, no tension, relaxed, okay? This is very, very important when you want to sketch. And another thing, you should be able to draw ellipses and cycles, okay? Sounds stupid at the beginning, but this is crucial when you want to sketch a wheel, for example, okay? Or any other rounded element of the car. Now, I will show you some examples of it. This is what I meant with drawing proper lines. Okay, let your hand flow. Don't be there trying to make it okay, straight. No, no, no. Let your hand flow. Be free and do better traces, okay? I want you to try it now in your papers. Just do some free lines, okay? But flow with your hand. Try to relax your hand a little bit. Try with different patterns, horizontal, vertical, however you want. This is okay, but don't do this kind of lines, okay? Drawing ellipses and circles, okay? This is what I mean with ellipses. This. Don't be scared of making it wrong, right? Just try. At the beginning, you will do things maybe like this that I'm doing here. You'll make a mess. Don't worry. Keep working, trying until you get an ellipsis, okay? With time, you will get your ellipsis cleaner, right? This is a matter of practice, and this is a good warm-up, drawing some lines with your hand relaxed, some ellipses, and even some cycles, right? For example, drawing a few cycles right here. Believe me that at the beginning, this is very, very hard, okay? Seems easy, but it isn't. But like I told you, it's just a matter of practice. This is what I mean when I tell you this patience, okay? With time, you will improve from one level to another level, another level, another level, okay? Until you get better at drawing your ellipses and your cycles. If you want to try right now in your paper, this would be amazing, and you will get the first contact with it. What kind of views do we have in car design? we have the side views. What we communicate on the side view, we communicate the general shape of our car, right? The general structure, the sculpture of our car. And this is the most important view because we are communicating how the car looks from the side, from the back, and from the front, right? And this is more to communicate about the proportions of it. If you see a car from the side, you will notice if this is a little car, like a smart car, a city sedan, a sport car, an SUV, an off-road huge vehicle, right? And this is why it's very, very important to understand why we do side views. Okay, with side views, like I told you, we'll communicate the general idea of the vehicle, right? Then we move into another kind of view that is related with the side views. And those are the orthographic views, okay, or oblique views. What are orthographic views? The orthographic views are the same as the side view, but with the car rotated. What I mean with this, we are not using any perspective in those sketches, right? Because we are drawing on a straight line like we do in a side view, right? In this case, it's an easier and faster way to communicate the front and the back of our car, right? More in detail. Like you can see in the screen, we have the 3/4 front and 3/4 back. And we can even show more the back or more the front by rotating this view more to one side or to another. Why we use the orthographic views, like I told you, to communicate the front and the rear of the car, the details of the front and the rear, and we show the volume in a different view, right? We show how the surface of the front are working and how the surface of the back are working. Then, after the orthographic views, we move into perspectives, right? And those are a few perspectives. Why we use perspectives? Why we need perspectives? Perspectives are another way to communicate our vehicle, how the surfaces are working, how the details are shown, but more to communicate an emotion, right? Because when we draw a perspective, we want to communicate something different, something deeper. Okay, it's not the same watching at a orthographic view than watching at a perspective, right? There's something more aggressive, something more dynamic. So with perspectives, we play with the feelings, right? We're having, like in this case, a sport car, we're showing it from the front a little bit on the headlights part, but showing something dynamic, showing that the car is fast, right? In the other view, like we can see at the top right here, we are communicating how the surfaces of the roof are working, right? And a little bit of the back. But keep in mind that perspectives are, apart from showing elements of the top of the car, are more to communicate emotions. Okay, I want to know if you have any doubt about the views, if you want to know about another kind of views or anything you need, just let me know.
Will you please show other perspectives?
Yeah, sure. I will in a minute with other examples because I will explain you how to draw a perspective. Which lens perspective we have to use? We have one question there. It depends on what you want to communicate, right? Because if you have a huge detail on the back of the car, right, close to the headlights, you will try to focus on something more like a fisheye effect on this part, making it more massive, more aggressive, right? And maybe if you have an air intake in the side of the car and at the top of the car, you will communicate with another kind of perspective, like I showed in this case. For example, here maybe we have like Lamborghini does some kind of air intake, right, in both sides. And we want to communicate how this surface is working. This kind of perspective is perfect for that, right? In this case, we can communicate different variations, for example, of the headlight. I don't know, a little treatment here. For example, it depends on what part you want to communicate and what you want to communicate. This is the most important. Now, we will move into perspectives. Okay, like I told you before, when we are learning to draw, we want to get into car design world, I recommend you to use only pen and paper. Again, allow yourself to make mistakes, right? You're not going to do everything perfect from the beginning. You will make mistakes, and a lot, believe me. This is why you need to be patient and practice a lot. If you can give yourself to practice at least 10 or 20 minutes every day, it's better than just drawing one day at a week, okay? Another important thing related to perspective, it's understanding the vanishing point. I see a lot of you guys trying to draw a perspective, but don't understanding what is the vanishing point, right? And the vanishing point is crucial when you want to draw a product, a car, a building, anything. You need to understand about vanishing point. This is crucial on sketching and art in general, right? Now, paying attention to the construction. Why I'm telling you this? I'm going to explain the construction, but I want you to pay full attention on it, right? Because there are crucial steps to understand the vanishing point and the construction of it. Okay, who knows what is the best shape to start practicing perspectives? I want you to tell me. Cube, sphere, cone, squares. Yeah, but more than squares, cubes could be the right answer. Like my friend here told. Okay, cube, sphere, cone. You are right. You're right. More with the cube. Okay, a cube like this one in perspective. How is this cube built? This is built by using a vanishing point, right? How? In this way. What are the vanishing points? Vanishing points are those little points right here that guides us to the construction. Okay, those are again our guides. Okay, why? Maybe I want to add a little section in this cube right here. I want to create a hole. Okay, I will follow the vanishing points, right? from every part. And now here I have like a little dot in this cube, right? A little bit of shape right there. We have a dot. And this is perfectly drawn by using the vanishing points, right? Okay. Now, what else we can do with the cubes? We can rotate them, okay? We can see them more from the bottom, like in this case, more from the top, like in this case, from the side, like or the corner, like a building, like in this case. We can rotate them however we want, right? This is like having a box, and this could be a great exercise if you want to practice it. Get just a basic box, rotate it, and try to draw it, but exaggerate the perspective. And once that you understand how to draw a cube in perspective, you can try to add a few details like I showed you in the other example, right? Maybe in this case, we want to make a little hole right there. For example, following the vanishing points, we have a little window right there. Okay. Let's move on to the next thing. Next element that we need to draw, cylinders. Why cylinders? Because with cylinders, we build the wheelbase of our cars. Okay, very important understanding how to draw cylinders and how we do it again. Vanishing point, right? How we draw a cylinder, I will give you an example right here. We start with the main line, right? Then with this main line, we need to draw the top line and the line of the bottom. Okay. Then we draw two perpendicular lines to the main line, right? And after this, having practiced our ellipses, we draw them on the perpendicular lines, right? And this is how we have our cylinder, right? At the beginning, you should use the guides of the vanishing point because it's very important to make the proper construction, right? But with time, you won't need to make the vanishing point and you will make it just by doing this, okay? Only with time. The same happens with cubes. At the beginning, you should use the vanishing point, but with the time, you can get rid of it. Now, what we can do with ellipses, the same as we did with the cubes. Rotating it, watching it more from the top, from the side, larger, shorter, in order to understand how the volumes of this shape are working. Once that we understood how to draw cubes and cylinders, we can move into perspectives, right? But how we draw a perspective? with a fusion, okay, of cubes or a box and cylinders. If you can notice here, we have a cylinder. Here we have another cylinder. And here we have a box. Okay. With this construction, we can draw our car, right? If you can see it, we're still having the base under our car, right? And every little detail is following a vanishing point. Everything. For example, in this case, we have the grill that is following a vanishing point, okay? Like we can see it in the box, right? Every little line right here is going to match in a vanishing point, right? Every little line here is going to match in a vanishing point. I will give you more examples and you will understand it better. Like we have in this case, this sketch, for example, right? We're having a vanishing point in this direction, right? Because everything goes to this direction. This is how vanishing point works, right? But how we notice what is the cylinder and the box here? Take a look, right? We have a base, always starting by the cylinders, and then we can start sketching our perspective, right? Crucial understanding how cylinders works. We have another example right here. Another base with just a box and two cylinders. Okay. Wow. Take a look at how it matches with our vehicle, right? And again, everything is following a vanishing point. The roof and every element. For example, in this case, we have the line of the vanishing point and we are matching the headlight of this side with the other side. How? With the vanishing point. If I draw a line following the vanishing point again, I know where the element starts to change the line. Like in this case. The same happens with the elements like these ones. Okay? If we follow this line, we will get this corner like we are having it right here. Everything following the vanishing point. It's simple as that, right? The same with the seats inside the car. We can see it here because we are having a reflection. But if we draw the other seat right here, it will be in this direction, following the other one, right? Because everything again is following a vanishing point. I will see, okay, no doubts for the moment. Now, you will see how we construct a whole sketch starting line by line with a vanishing point. Where are those lines? All those lines, guides coming from the vanishing point, right? In the main lines, I will put the first ellipsis in order to start building my first cylinder, like we have here. And then we need to match the other one in order to build the other cylinder. But in this case, where it ends, where else should I put the other perpendicular line? Here, here, why? Where? I know it by setting another line of the vanishing point, and I know that the top of my line should be here, and I can continue with my cylinder. Okay? The other guidelines, the other side, the cylinders, as you can see, here we have them. And now we can start drawing our vehicle. Okay, this is the result we can have by following the vanishing point. As you can see, I added here a few more lines. And why I added those lines? Because I wanted to know where my headlights are going to match with the other side, where are closing with the other side. I could have drawn a line like this one, following the vanishing point and understanding where it closes, right? The same happens here with the roof. My roof is closing in this part and in this part, and I understand it because I use the vanishing point, right? Maybe if I add an element, for example, let me hide this to make it simple. For example, I want to add some kind of intake here. I want to finish in that part, right? The other side will end in this part too, okay? Maybe we want to add a little hole here, and we can match both sides, understanding the vanishing point. Okay. Do you have any questions related to vanishing points, perspectives? I will give you a little demo after this, but I want to hear a little bit about you guys.
No, I have no doubt, sir, but I appreciate your work, how you put the cylinders on the perspective of the car.
Okay. Okay, great. We will continue with rendering basics. This is completely related to software. It could be in any sketch app. In this case, we are working with Photoshop, right? We have a little here, right here, and we need to understand where our light source is coming. For example, in this case, the light is coming from here, right? So the more the light is hitting is in this part. The light is hitting less in this part and even less in this part, right? This is how we show a volume, a basic volume. Now, we have a sphere coming the light source from the same place, okay? We have more light here, a little bit less, the original color, and even less light. Okay, this is all about how lights come into the shape. Now, you're going to see a few volumes and you can apply it to your sketches, to your side views, to your perspectives, anything, right? We'll give it a little bit of color. And now I will show you where we have the light source in every case. Getting from here, okay, you can see it in that way. We have light here and here, right, in the same way, because this is straight, okay. Here we don't have light. In this case, we have pure darkness here, less darkness, less, a little bit of light, and pure light here. The same happens here. We have light, less light, little bit of darkness, total darkness, little bit of darkness, light, and pure light. Okay, this is how we represent a volume. And it depends always on the volume, because maybe you can give me an example of a different kind of volume and we will have a different treatment on it, right?
No, sir, I don't have any questions.
Okay, I had a question talking about if rendering is important in car design. This is very important, because without rendering, you can communicate clearly the surfaces of your vehicle, okay? So that's why I'm explaining you how to represent the volumes properly, okay? Now, we will continue with the little advice that I wanted to give you. Some inspiration advice, okay? Because sometimes this is a problem and we try to get inspired by other projects, other cars, and this is not the proper way to do it, okay? And what I recommend you here is don't look for other cars, because if you want, for example, to create a sport car or a hypercar, you will start to look for hypercars, and maybe you will limitate yourself to what you are watching on the screen, right? And that's not what we want. If you are looking for proportions of a hypercar, that's perfect. Look for any hypercar, take the proportions, and you are done. But don't look for inspiration in other cars, right? What you can do instead of it? Look for industrial design, look for architecture, look for sculptures, look for shapes of the nature, look for, I don't know, concept ideas, look for, I don't know, watch futuristic movies, watch even old movies, bring things from the past to the moment or to the future, look for retro futuristic things, look for those things, right? But don't look for other cars, because believe me that you will limit yourself. In my younger days, I used to do it, and I didn't get such a good results as you can with looking to the other things that I told you. I'm talking about or from my experience, and believe me that this will help you a lot, a lot. More if you look, for example, I like looking at architecture, because you can find a lot of interesting shapes and you can apply them to your project. Now, we're going to do just a little game, right? And I want you to sketch now. That's why at the beginning I asked you for preparing your pen and your paper, okay? And this is a keywords challenge. I want you to write one random word in the chat I will write them here, and we will start to create something, a side view, a perspective, an orthographic view, anything related to those random words. So for example, I will start with the first word, mountain, for example. Aggressive, another word, muscular. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, Pininfarina, we are done, we're done. I will copy it to don't make a mistake. Okay, we have Pininfarina right here. Perfect. What I want you to do now, guys, I want you to think about those words and sketch something related to this. Okay, for example, think about mountain. What comes into your mind when you think about a mountain? Something wild, maybe, rocks, big things, nature, animals. And by thinking in that way, you can start to get some concepts, right? For example, if I say big things, wild, rocks, I start to think about a kind of vehicle, an off-road vehicle, right? And if I read aggressive, okay, I start to think about sharp shapes, okay, big shapes, imponent shapes, okay, muscular, okay, something wide, huge, big. Pininfarina, we have a design language right there. We can look for the company and see how they do the headlights, the taillights, what kind of lines they use, and adapt the other concepts to the brand. Okay, but just looking at the design language of the brand, right? Not at the cars, at copying a car and making it off-road. No, we want to get the design language of it. Okay, let's sketch something. Making the reference wheels for proportions, right? We should always do this. putting some muscles there, like we said on the keywords. We are ready with general sketch. Now we can get into details by using line weight on our design, right? How we use line weight, you will see it right now. We put a little bit of shape. Why we put shape? Because when we use the shape, the car starts to sit somewhere and it's not only in the air, right? This is why you should draw a little shape to position your car better on the ground, okay? Now, with the line weight, we communicate which parts are the most important and which elements we want to communicate first in the whole sketch. So we put a little bit of weight into the lines that we want to communicate first. Some reflections to the windows to help the volumes, right? We show the aggressiveness and the off-road of the vehicle by showing a little bit of the off-road wheels, right? We get back to this part to add a few details. A little bit of shade. And we can keep communicating the surfaces. Another important thing when we are drawing perspectives and even orthographic views, is showing how the volumes are working at the front. And how we do it with the middle line, right? So you're going to see it right now. Take a look. Now you may understand how the volumes are working, but when I put the middle line, you understand better how the surfaces are working on the front of my vehicle, right? We see that we have a short nose now, a big windshield, and all the volumes in this section, right? I will keep polishing some lines. You could even show a little bit of the wheels right there. I could be adding some volumes and shades all the day long. And you can always improve for better your sketch. The more time you put on it, the better the sketch is. And as you can see, I never erased anything, and we keep having a good sketch. A bit more of shade right there. If we can want to separate it from the back, we can do something like this. Yeah. And put a little bit of shade on it to give more contrast, more depth to our sketch. Okay. Any doubt related to the sketch I did here? Here we have one question. Can you explain the points you took from Batista in the sketch? Of course. I will use a red marker for it. I will turn down the opacity. Okay. What I used, if you can see in the windows, we have an organic, okay, lower opacity for this. We have an organic shape, right? But with a certain volume. This cut right here and the continue of it. As you can see, I did the same in a bigger window, right? With a tougher line right here and the end of it. If we can see it, we have an organic language with a little bit of sharp surfaces, right? What I mean with organic, we have curved lines, right? Curved lines everywhere in this car, yeah? Can you notice it? I took those lines, if you can see it, here, doing it more organic, because I could have done it straight, right? I could have done something like this, just this, and aggressive, right? But this is softer because I was following the language, like here, here, of the car. I could have done the defenders like that, but and at the same time I wanted to make them aggressive, and I follow a more organic way, right? Maybe here I could have been softer in this part, right? Even in this part could have been softer, following more the language. You see, I took a little bit of inspiration in this part. This is why I draw it, this piece right here containing the light, right? Did I evacuate your question? Okay, perfect. Well, guys, if you don't have any other question, we will end here, but feel free to ask anything because I have a lot of information to give you. But if you don't ask, I don't know what you need to know, right? And I'm here to help you. So ask anything you need. How to practice organic lines, like fillet to corners. Okay, that's a good question. And it's a nice improvement when you're trying to get your sketch into the next level. For example, we're drawing just a shape, yeah, with this. Maybe going back to this direction. Think about that. Maybe we have a headlight right here, right? We're doing the kind of a front of the car. In this part, you're drawing straight lines. And then once that you have a nice white here, you can start to make a fusion, fillet between these two lines, right? But we are doing very technical lines here, right? And we can do them more organic. What is organic? Curvy lines, more curvy lines, right? We will have maybe something like this, more like a happy face in the car, right? We follow the line, and then we do the same treatment here. But in the same way, we can do it completely sharp. Anyways, I recommend you to give it a little bit of fillet right there, okay? And you can do it in every part of the car. For example, like I did here with the window, I started to draw like this. Yeah, I did a little fillet right there. Even here, right? I did a little fillet. And this makes your sketch more professional, right? The same here. A little bit. We have this another line, a little bit of fillet here. This is how you make it better, look more dynamic, more fresh. Because I don't recommend to do only these cuts, right? Maybe, I don't know, with the headlight even I could have been done it in this way and looks better. I don't recommend to do this, cut it right there, because you will have like a boxy design, right? Once that you did the main lines, add a little bit of fillet, yeah, in every part. It will feel smoother. We have another question. Best tools for design. Okay, best tools for design. What I recommend is using Photoshop mainly. Yeah, Photoshop. I recommend to all of you guys using a digital tablet. It could be a Wacom XP pen, or any brand you want. Even Huion is another one. Nice. With a tablet and Photoshop and having your hand sketches always. Let me put it first. Pen and paper, the most important tool. You can add something else for 3D. For example, I recommend you Alias or Blender. What else? If you want to render in a best way, for example, you can use, I don't remember now, Keyshot, for example, is another one with rendering tool. This is all for 3D, right? But you can even use here, instead of Photoshop, Sketchbook, right? There are many kind of softwares that you can use, but this not makes the biggest difference. Okay, it's all about how you use them and how you improve with them, right? Okay, Adesh here saying thank you so much for a wonderful session. Thanks to you, Guy, for joining and being the whole session here. It's a pleasure for me. Can product industrial designer work in transportation design? Yeah, brother, sure. But anyways, you need to improve your transportation design skills, your car design skills, okay? Because understanding how to build, how to create a product helps you a lot when you start to learn to draw a car, for example, okay? But you need to take some classes related to transportation design anyways. And let me tell you that being an industrial designer or a student of industrial designer is even better when you want to get into a car design job than studying any other career. For example, I don't know, engineering, because you already have a contact with the design world, okay, in your studies. So it's better to start with industrial design or any kind of design, even architecture, and then you can move into some specific academy to learn car design. For example, we at Dot Design Academy are offering courses. You are all invited to ask whatever you want of the courses. We are helping people to build their portfolios, to improve their skills, to learn from zero, right? Because we have industrial designers working with us, learning with us, and they are improving great because they understand how to make a product. Okay, I hope I evacuated your doubt. Thank you, sir. So it's harder to get a job in car designing. I'm not going to lie, it's not easy, but it's all up to you. Because if you work every day a little bit, you get into an academy, you improve your skills, you build your portfolio and you keep improving, always getting better, getting information, there will be one day that you will get there. Okay. Like I said at the beginning of the masterclass, this is not from day to night. You need years of improving, getting better, understanding new techniques, putting them into practice, because this is very important. You can watch a lot of videos related to the most professional card design skills, but if you don't put it into practice, it's like doing anything because you are just watching. Okay? So practice, and you will get it, right? Okay, guys, thanks a lot for being here the whole session. I hope it helped you. If you have any further questions, you can ask in the DM of that Design Academy, and we will be helping you. And like I told you, if you need to take some classes to improve your skills and you are looking forward and you are dreaming of becoming a card designer, you can talk with us and we can create a plan specific for you. Okay, we are doing one-on-one live classes like we are doing now, but one-on-one, person to person, right? Making corrections, helping you with anything you need. So if you are interested, you can just send us a DM and we will help you out. Okay? Well, guys, this is all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped again. So see you on the next one. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.